Welcome to Rising Tides Live. I am your host, Shawn Walchef. This is a Cali BBQ media production. I am joined today by Elizabeth Doss, my co-host. We are going to be talking about content creation as experiments. So we are a community of storytellers. We're a community of hospitality professionals, technologists, people that are obsessed with digital hospitality. We believe a rising tide lifts all ships, and we believe that we also make a lot of mistakes. I have made so many mistakes with content creation over the last 18 years of being a restaurant owner, owning Cali Barbecue. When no one was coming to our restaurant, I had to get on Facebook and post about our barbecue or our local events that we were doing. And we're here to talk and share some stories, some lessons. But if you're watching this online, thank you. Please subscribe. This will also be replayed on our digital hospitality podcast. But we want you to join us. So if you're watching this, please come on stage. You can go to betheshow.media/rising tides for a link to join the show. The more voices that we have up on the stage, the better. We have a LinkedIn group chat. We have an Instagram group chat. We have a Slack channel so that we all can go out and support each other. Everyone's a media company. I don't know if anyone's told you that or not, but every single person, if you're watching this, your story matters. And Elizabeth, go ahead and kick us off. Set the stage for us.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Elizabeth Doss, and I love talking content creation and creativity and all of those wonderful things. But when I was thinking about the idea for this room kind of sparked from a conversation that I had. I'm working on a project right now that has a lot of intricate bits and stuff, and I was completely paralyzed. It's an illustration project, and I couldn't pick up the pen. I couldn't. I'm staring at this thing. I was like, I know I need to work on this. I have a deadline. I need to get moving on this, and I'm stuck. And so what did I do when you get stuck? You call your friends, right? And so I booked a session with Richard, and I feel like Richard just has to say the same thing to me over and over again. And one of these times, I hope I really will get it. But he was basically saying to me, Elizabeth, you've stopped playing. You've stopped experimenting. You've gotten in your head about the name behind this client, about the bigness of this project, all that stuff. You have to throw that stuff out and just get back to playing. Take the pressure off and just play. And he said, your best work comes when you're having fun. And it really, I was like, you're right. I'm putting way too much pressure on myself to deliver this thing. And just to tie up that story, it sparked this idea that I hadn't thought of, this detail I hadn't thought of in this. It led to a great brainstorming session with the client. It's added this whole other branch to what we're doing. And I got this text in all caps from the client. I am so glad you are our illustrator and creative mind for this. Thank you. And it was this idea of how can we play again? And so from that conversation, I was on Pinterest or something. I saw this picture pop up, those quote pictures type things. But this is a quote from Lisa Congdon. And she said, treat everything as an experiment. And this is something I've come in contact with as a content creator for clients, et cetera, that we get to experiment with the brand and experiment with ideas. We have a whole lot of fun. And we have this way of instead of getting stuck in our head of this has to be perfect or it has to look like this person's or that person's, what if we just blurred the lines and started playing with it? And when I'm working with clients that slam the door in my face. And Shawn, I'm sure you've experienced this in the work that your media team does, where you have this idea, you're like, what if we tried this? And they no. And for me, especially as a creative, it's hard to get outside of that playground sometimes to even want to stick my foot out and be like, maybe could we try this? And yet when I have clients that are like, yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens with it, and treating it like an experiment. So say we try a thing and it fails. it's still plugged that hole for that moment, but we learned something from it. So my last thing, and I'll hand it back to you, Shawn, is my two nieces they were running for school office positions, so I helped them make some videos for their things. But yesterday was election day at their school, which is nice. They matched it up with that. But my sister had a whole conversation with them on the way to school, and she said, there are going to be winners today, and there are going to be learners. And I want you to know, if you don't win the seat that you've, voting for, that you're going to learn something from it. You're allowed to be disappointed, but don't be angry about it, which I thought was really great. But this idea of, you put yourself out there, you were brave, you tried a thing, and we learned that you can do that. You can be brave, put yourself out there, but you might learn that you didn't want to do that, or whatever on the other side. But how can we lean in and do some experimenting with it? And this is something that Cali Barbecue with Steven Swiderski is doing really great, is that they're willing to make themselves feel like a fool, look like a fool, for the chance that they might find that one that's coming, or more. And so how can you lean into the play side of this rather than the structure side? And even luxury brands can play. Like, I work with clients that are frozen custard, so we're like doing visual effects and like all this stuff. But how can a luxury brand play a little bit? Anyway, so those are my things. Treat everything like an experiment. I'll hand things over to you, Shawn.
I love it. Great way to set the tone, Elizabeth. We know there's people waiting. We're going to get as many people up on stage. I'm going to share a quick confession. So as somebody that preaches about smartphone storytelling, about taking your phone out of your pocket, I have put so many experiments on Facebook, on Instagram stories. I still do a good job of posting daily vlogging on Instagram stories. On LinkedIn, I'm very consistent. On YouTube, I'm getting better. And I'm talking about my personal brand. Obviously, we're posting from Cali Barbecue's account. Elizabeth referenced that Steven is doing a phenomenal job of doing different types of skit videos with our staff, with managers, with food. The reason why we're able to do that is that I got out of my own way and I asked for help. One of the things that we talk about all the time, it's something my grandfather taught me: stay curious, get involved, ask for help. So like, curious people will come to the live stream, you'll come on stage, you'll share your struggles with trying to post on Substack or trying to post on LinkedIn and trying these different experiments. But you actually have to get involved and you have to do that work. But some of us, depending where you are on your content creation journey, we know that it's valuable. We know that we should do it. Troy, I'm talking to you specifically. And we know that we don't have the bandwidth. Like, where you are in your journey, you might not have the bandwidth to actually post. That's really my problem. And where I'm struggling right now is that I have so much content. I actually have too much content to filter. I have old content. I have B-roll. We have successful videos that I have to repurpose. We have content that I'm filming when I'm going to Vegas next week for RFDC. We're going to be going to Google in New York and filming some incredible stuff. But like, I just don't have the bandwidth to actually post it on my own personal account. So me and the team, Kyle and Stover, we've been working at figuring out how to unblock myself and figure out workflows so that I can get it to the team can get it out to my account. And we are going to be trying so many experiments. So if you think I was loud before, if you think I posted a lot before, I can't wait for 2026, because I'm going to get out of my own way and we're going to get back to playing ball. So we're going to try all different types. It's going to be family content, restaurant content, media content, storytelling, technology content. And then we're going to have data, and we're going to look back and we're going to see what did well and what didn't do well. But let's bring the community up. Let's share some lessons and stories. We know we got a lot of people today. Super excited for today's conversation. Get vulnerable, get up on stage, tell us who you are, tell us about your experiments, and challenge yourself. We like to hold each other accountable. So Spencer, Michael, you're up first. Who are you? What are you working on a Friday? And tell us a story about what you plan on doing in 2026 with your content. Personally, your podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate the time as always. Love coming on here. Thanks, Shawn. Great job, Elizabeth. Spencer Michael here with Back of House. We help restaurants find the right technology solution. Backofhouse.io is where you can find us, and you can get in touch with me anytime. Spencer@backofhouse.io, and I would love to talk to you and help you find the right text. So obviously last week, Brendan and I were given a task. I think we all were called out, but it was good because
it was honestly, a call out episode for sure.
And this is this is very apropos to talk about it because I missed it. We were going to get 7 pieces of content, or posts, 7 posts. I got 5 in the past week, but I was going to film these unique videos, and I just didn't like what I saw on the screen. I didn't like it. I'm like, I can't do this. And I think I should have just put it up and see what happens, see what the reaction is. But I got it's so true. I got in my own head, got in my own way. It's difficult seeing yourself on the screen sometimes, and think about, oh my God, what happened to myself? I got old, and and I think I need to get out of my own way and do it. So I'm sad that I missed the goal. I tried my hardest, but I think I just need to just.
Well, let's look at it, Spencer. Before I called you out last week, how much were you posting before?
Oh, I think I had like 5 total on that account because I had started it. So I've doubled my output in the past week. So
let's pat yourself on the back and give yourself a little bit of grace. I mean, you're like 5 out of 7 days. Like, yes, if you set the bar high and you say 100 videos in 100 days, and what's the worst? What if you do 50 videos? That's 50 videos that most people do in a lifetime, right?
True.
So it's like now we get to go back and, like I said, that's amazing that you did 5 videos, but it's also, we appreciate the vulnerability in saying why you didn't post the other 2, because everyone struggles with that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I mean, honestly, that's where I'm struggling. It's like I have videos where I'm posting, but like I know I want it edited, but I know I don't have the bandwidth to edit it, and I have to get it to our team to edit it, and then by that time it's too late, and it's already past the event, and I'm over posting it, and I'm on to the next.
I very much appreciate that. And was that applause that I heard? Did Mike add some sound effects?
I don't know. Is Mike producing applause? Oh, wow. Look at that. We're fancy now. Fancy on StreamYard.
Wow. And I think for 2026, I'm glad you mentioned the podcast, because if you haven't seen, Shawn was a guest on our podcast. It's called So You Want to Run a Restaurant? No, you don't. It's the shortest podcast ever. No, of course you do. And we tips and tricks from people who are on the front lines. And so obviously that is the focus for content creation in 2026. Claudia Sarek, my wonderful co-host, and I, we really get along really well, even though we live in different cities and do it remotely. But we will be doing more live events next year. So awesome. we will be out in front of the people. We'll be on the road, talking different restaurateurs in different communities in different cities around both US and Canada. So we're very excited for that. So obviously that is a bit of a cheat code for content creation because someone else is filming it and I get access to it. But
we got to publish it. So it doesn't matter who films it. If it doesn't hit the internet, no one saw it.
Very true.
Content in the clouds is for the birds. Content in the cloud is for the. I have 100,000 pieces of content on my phone. Doesn't do any good because no one sees it. Like the ones that actually make it on the internet, they actually have a chance.
All right.
To get you all the things that you want to build your business.
Perfect. All right. I love it. I love coming out here. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. 7 this week. Next week it'll be 7.
Next week it'll be 7. I'm on it. I'll have one of these videos of myself telling an old story that. I love the story. I looked at myself and like, I got to do better than this, but it'll be up.
I just want to say to Spencer and to everybody else who's dealing with this that I'm writing you a permission slip right now to make C- content.
Yes.
Just get your D+ work out there, and you don't need a grade on this, and just show up.
Just show up.
It's like you knew me in high school, Elizabeth. Thank you so much.
And shout out to Estefania from Patagonia joining us. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. And Hildy and Mandy, we see you. We appreciate you wherever in the world you are. This digital hospitality community has been meeting for 4 years, and we keep growing. The only way to grow is to let a friend know. We want to hear their story. So, Brendan, you're up. You've been getting after it. You've been doing the homework. Be careful who you assign homework to, because they might actually call you on your bullshit. Brendan's been all over it on me for sure.
Yeah, well, like Spencer said, after the call out last week, I just could not let you down. So I appreciate that. But yeah, thanks, Shawn. Brendan Leahy with Consolidated Concepts. Quick intro. We are the GPO arm of the Buyer's Edge platform, provide rebates and deviated pricing back to our customers. So that's kind of the long and short of what we do here. Business development with Consolidated. And yeah, my second day here on the show, I guess. So yeah, Shawn, honestly, I appreciate, all joking aside, the call out last week. It's, as you said, I just kind of just started doing it. Experimenting and just going with it. And I know you've seen most of the posts here, and it was funny to the experimenting topic here, because you see how some, like a few of them, like caught fire for sure. Mm-hmm. And to Spencer's point before, like I wasn't posting much, right? Maybe once a month. And it's funny because I've gotten so much, like so many people reaching out to me, whether it's like friends or what's going on right now.
Yeah. What's happening? Are you an influencer? What's up?
No, I've gotten that like at least 5 times. So yeah, no, really good stuff. And one of the posts that I thought was funny that got the most engagement was a post I put up on Saturday morning, no less. Mm-hmm. And that was about, a personal thing for me about my hockey league every Saturday morning, and, about resetting on the weekend and what that kind of entails for me. So, yeah, just pretty cool to see and keep doing. So, and it's pretty funny you bring up the goals for 2026 and content goals. And I actually brought it up to Shawn. We spoke about it on our conversation about our media team that we have here at my company. And I actually brought it up to this idea to them a couple days back about doing a podcast with me and him, or at least just been trying to do weekly videos, and in whether it's weekly or, obviously daily would be tough with that type of, environment.
Start weekly. Yeah. Weekly is something that is it's a great way to hold yourself accountable.
But yeah, we have a studio here in office here in Boston. And so, he's in. And so I was thinking, I brought up to him yesterday. So we're going to start strategizing next week on topics and how we can start doing that. So that's my goal there.
That's awesome. Well, we have plenty of podcasters in this community that are happy to share best practices, things, actually not only best practices, but actually things not to do. I think that's probably always more helpful is don't do this. Don't make goals that aren't achievable. Back to, do the things that you can do and, hold yourself accountable. And, but that's awesome. Great stuff.
Yeah. And I wanted to say to Brendan, and it's a great place to farm content from. So you create these longer pieces of content, and now you can chop up parts of that point back to the bigger conversation. So you're not having to reinvent the wheel for the short form content that you're needing to keep the beast fed. And so you just chop that up. And so it's a great way to have that consistent showing up. And I see that Ryan says on LinkedIn, just made my first post today. It's D+ work at best, but it's better than nothing at all. Go Ryan.
Yeah, there you go. So everybody that's in the LinkedIn group chat, if you want to join the LinkedIn group chat, send me a message, or Mike Biseglia on LinkedIn will add you. But I posted, Ryan did his first TikTok post. He told me that he's going to do 100 videos in 100 days building his brand on TikTok. So please give Ryan a follow on TikTok, but also LinkedIn. Thanks for joining the live stream. We appreciate it. Bruce Nelson, you're up, my friend. I will see you in Las Vegas. For anybody that's watching, that will be at RFDC, Restaurant Finance and Development Conference in Las Vegas. That's happening Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So Bruce, go ahead.
Yeah, Shawn, thank you. It's good to see everybody. I'm very excited to go to Vegas and learn some more at the show. Restaurant CFO, I'm knee deep right now in 2026 budgets. which is what happens before I get to the lull of 2025 tax work. So that's what I'm working on now. I'm just trying to finish everything up before I go to Vegas. On this topic, I've learned the hard way that storytelling is far better than selling. I started experimenting, and now I'm watching the metrics on my posts. And when I tell a story, I get the most engagement possible. And when I go all theoretical or philosophical, which is where I come from, I always want to talk to people about the theory of what I do and why it's important. It's like crickets. So even despite my own best judgment, I just stopped doing that and telling stories. In fact, if you follow my stuff, I don't think you've seen a single call to action on anything I've posted in the last 2 months. And ironically, I've been busier than I've ever been before following this philosophy. So I have this great community to thank for that change and how this has been going for me. And I think the last thing I'll mention too is I've done a couple of podcasts that were recorded in front of the RFDC, and I get the host sending me long lists of questions and trying to script out what the podcast is. And I've gone back to every one of them and said, you know what? The only content that's going to work here is just organic.
Don't be boring.
I completely go off their script and we end up going down rabbit holes, but I think they're more interesting.
I love that you're pushing back. Yeah. Anybody that's thinking about podcasting and wants preset questions, please don't have a conversation. No one wants to be in a commercial. We're not actors. We're real people, tell real stories. Awesome stuff, Bruce. Great perspective. Can't wait to see you in Vegas next week. Richard, welcome back, my friend. We have missed you. There's been no British representation on this show for way too long. What's up?
The Brits are back. Love it.
Brits are back. Do you have any language to teach me today?
Well, actually, today is a big festival in the UK. It's November the 5th. We call it Bonfire Night because many, many years ago, there was a dastardly coward called Guy Fawkes that tried to blow Parliament up. And, he was a terrorist before terrorism was widely used. And we caught him and we burnt him at the stake. And to celebrate this, hundreds of years later, we have bonfire parties and light fireworks as a representation of what he tried to do. And it's just our way of showing terrorists that we're really tough. It's our history. So November the 5th, we have a lot of fireworks in the UK. And it's there's lots of bonfire parties where literally people make an effigy of Guy Fawkes and put him on the fire. If you've seen the movie V for Vendetta, there's probably a clearer explanation, but it's a bit of a tradition in the UK. So in the background, I can hear lots of fireworks. Hopefully you can't.
No, we can't. You're good.
So now it's a bit of a British tradition. Thanks for having me back. It's been a few weeks and I've been very lucky to catch up with Mandy on the phone a couple of weeks ago. Been planning some adventures with her. And I love this topic. My business is all about making other people's businesses more amazing. And one of the things that I always encourage people to, I'm so happy Elizabeth shared the story about me encouraging her to play, because I get to do a couple of things. First of all, say, told you so, which is one of the most satisfying things you can ever say to another business. You can't normally say it in front of your clients, but oh, shit. And the other thing is, back in January, I went with Scott Turner, and he was really annoying me. So I had this brilliant idea for a Christmas gift for him. I was going to send him a nice bottle of English champagne. He goes, "Oh, I hate it when people send me alcohol." I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake." So I took him to a bunch of TED Talks. And one of the TED Talks, I'm going to put it in the chat, and if Mike can share it, was this guy that was encouraging people to play. And he said, what happens is as we become older, we have creativity and play kicked out of us. And he said that the more you play, the more interesting things happen. And I think it's something that you can do with your social media, but I think it's something you can do with your businesses. And I was talking to somebody earlier today, oh, should I go for a second location? Should I not? Then we'll go play with the idea, go and do a pop-up, go and stop thinking in black and white. I think so often we think in black and white, we should do this or we shouldn't do this. Why? Just go play with the idea. And I think sometimes you have to come out of that mindset. And when it comes to the content, Shawn, I've had a rough couple of weeks, and I sent Shawn a video yesterday that I got tagged in. And I'm really proud of it because it's good.
It's really good, yeah.
And I showed it to some of my clients, and I said, look, this is good, this. I said, let me show you the shit stuff that I've been doing for the last 3 years to get to this. And there was a lot of shit. I mean, please don't look at my Instagram like before this year. I mean, this year there's pink shoes. There's like me in Parliament, me chatting away to people. It's good. Go back 2.5 years ago. There's me with a Halloween mask. It's painful. I mean, it's really bad. It's badly thought out, badly executed. Elizabeth's wincing. But sometimes you have to do the shit to get to the good. So I saw somebody saying about doing D plus. Congratulations. I started on G or H or like lower.
Is that a different grading system? We don't have G's.
No. It's like lowering the bar. I've been lowering the bar for years, right? Most business try and raise the bar. I've been lowering it. Okay. But what's really interesting is you start getting over it and then it gets higher and higher and higher. But I went like real low first. So I think there's a couple of things. Watch the YouTube. Remember to play. And in order to be good, you have to be really shit. It's a bit like having a waiting job and having a whole load of glasses and spilling it over a celebrity. You have to do that. And then you do it.
Are you setting Jason up?
Then you don't do it a third time. But the point is you have to be really bad before you get really good.
That was brilliant, Richard. way to throw glasses on Jason Berkowitz before his turn. Jason, you're up right on cue.
That was great. I was like, is he? He's going there.
He's doing that.
Appreciate it. To all those listening, where I spilled drinks twice on the cast of Entourage, or got a good applause.
Jason Berkowitz twice.
Come back.
Oh, look at that, Mike! Right on cue. Well done, Mike.
So here's fun. I'm going to take a different approach to it, with which is this idea of building on Richard and Elizabeth of playing, and how I think it's so important to keep creativity in your life outside of what we're working on, and everyone else can kind of talk about, or some can have the conversation of just build that muscle of working towards, posting regularly. I love to play separately, and how this builds synaptics and firings and gets rid of the cobwebs, and everything is just somewhat like a muscle, and how you train in one area really helps you in another area. And so an example for me, how I'm going to put this into is I'll be offline for semi-on and offline for the rest of November, because I'm going back to Detroit to go hang out with my band, who we still do stuff and it's fun, and still is a percentage of my annual income. And so I've got a lot of work projects coming into play. Work meaning Arrow Up stuff that we're gonna make a lot of videos in December. Jason Berkowitz, Arrow Up training in December. And before that, we're going to take 3 weeks and I'm going to go completely different storytelling, music, musicals, stuff like that I'm going to work and really play with this, so that when I come back into A, I'm going to have fun, and B, when I go into December, I'm going to be coming at it with a whole different level of muscle training and whatnot. I mean, the mathematics of relearning music, the creativity of telling a story, getting into the character development, all of that stuff. I'm excited to bring that back into the storytelling of how we do leadership development and compliance and safety and everything. And every time I've done this, I've noticed a whole new set of sparks that kicks in and a whole new set of progress. And don't underestimate just the power of the momentum. So my big push for everybody is make sure you're keeping creativity in your life in any capacity, because it is absolutely invaluable and important to the things that are paying your bills, otherwise.
Are we going to get any videos of Jason in the band?
I mean, we're gonna capture a bunch of stuff. I mean, it's really fun.
Capturing is one thing. Publishing is the capture. We get capturing smartphone storytelling. Turn the video on, capture it. I want to see it on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, that was fun. Yeah.
I want to.
You got me playing cowbell. You got me playing cowbell on some shows. I
want to see Jason playing the cowbell.
Jason, I do love something that you just said about taking creativity and energy from one part of your life and bringing it into another part. And I think sometimes when we're really reaching for something at work, and I'm looking at you, Elizabeth Doss, that actually we need to go back to basics. and actually what brings us joy, what gets us revved up and going. And I love the fact that sometimes we spend so much time focused on our business. And I worked with a brilliant creative mind for 10 years that would force us in London just to walk around with our eyes open, because all that inspiration gets into your system. And I think sometimes when we get stuck in our work, we become a bit boring. And actually, when we go back to what makes us great or what makes us come alive, and definitely when you talk about your music, you just like, you can see it in your energy. And I can see how one part of your life brings much energy to other parts. I think there's a really, really valuable lesson in what you just said, Jason.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's good. Let's all do it. Find that piece, work on it, and carry it over.
There it is. Naki, you're up. Who are you? What are you working on? And how are you going to experiment more in 2026?
Hi, everyone. Happy Hump Day. So my name is Naki Soytürk. I think all of you know me, right? Across Restaurant Consulting. So for me, 3 years ago when I started my consulting business, the hardest thing was after surviving a career of 17 years at that point in time in a corporate PE world, a super professional world. Even when I was working with a restaurant company that was PE owned, private equity owned, my world was very different than what I'm doing today, and thus I realized that like the memos and long form content was way in the past. And here's the fun part. I'm still trying to get my CPA. And, like you need to get like CPE credits and stuff like that. They are still doing the same thing. 8 hours of training. Somebody just like pummeling you with knowledge. So I wasn't crazy once I revisited my old roots. What I want to say is I found, I guess you can call it success, like 300, 400,000 impressions when I posted things that kind of were like emotion provoking, which is not really what I do. Like what I do is basically take something from A, convert it to hopefully like something later in the alphabet. Hopefully we get to P or something, right? And like that, what I'm trying to say is that it's not that what I do isn't sexy, which to me is, but it isn't to everybody else. But it's about how you, I guess, explain it to people is all that matters. That's why, like, when you go to a Mercedes dealership, they don't talk to you about 500 horsepower. It's not about what the car can do. It's about what you can do with the car. And I found more success. And I guess you guys won't be happy for me to say that, but when I found success with emotions, I kind of like detest that at the same time because I'm a factual person, right? But at the end, what I realized is the difference between me 3 years ago and now, and probably the person that I'm going to journey towards, is that it's about the reconciliation between the people whom I serve and I am. Basically, Bruce said it best. It's about storytelling, right? Because people learn from stories. They don't learn from memos or like newsletters or articles, right? It's about understanding your subject and making sure that they understand you. Because without that reconciliation, the trust and all those kinds of factors will only work if either party is useful to each other in a way. And in order to get a little bit more leeway and that relationship to extend, you need more on the trust side. You need more on the trust, so people can understand what the hell we are talking about, right? For something like what I do, which is like completely intangible, unless you withdraw the money from your bank account, right, and see like how much money you have, is completely intangible. It lives in a virtual world. And what I found is that's harder to explain, right? Compared to, I make great sushi. Here is my super sharp knife, and cutting the sushi and whatnot. But regardless of the circumstances, I think the critical thing is not resting, thinking our life depends on it, and experimenting one step after another step after another failure until we discover what works, and then not the test like I did, but more like understand why it worked out, and maybe find the tangent that we are comfortable with, that people can still relate to, but it's also part of us. Basically, like how people say, "Oh, I hate sales. I hate sales." It's because you're not thinking sales in terms of you're helping somebody, right? That's how I was when I started this. I said I hated sales, not realizing that is the reconciliation process, and I'm trying to help somebody, right? And the best way that I can do this is by doing a good process. So it's about preparation. It's about understanding the other party. I want to say I think preparation is also key. Like even if like we will throw from the hip, that hip shot needs to be prepared a lot of times. And I'm sure like Bruce, having the experience that he is, the reason that the conversation was great in his circumstance was because he's super experienced and there was some chemistry between the other person. To me, I think preparation is usually rules the day.
That's awesome. We have space on stage for those that are waiting to get in. Kyle and Sarah, what's up, man? Great to see you. Fun with dirt. Yes, this is an open panel live stream. We are an open community, digital hospitality professionals from all over the globe. We've been doing this show for 5 years now, since the good old Clubhouse days. And here we are, man. Hildy's in the house. Hildy, how are you? Welcome. Let's get to Mandy, and then we'll get over to Hildy. Mandy, what's up? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Okay. I want to give just a quick shout out of gratitude for this community because I've been like lathering up in it in the last 2 weeks. So Troy and I just did some business together.
Yes.
I have said Elizabeth's name more times than I can count in the last 3 weeks about your gifts. You're literally incorporated into my new speech with like me doing a high kick, all because of you. And Richard and my husband and I just had a lovely phone call about London. Hildy and I exchanged some text messages. And then Shawn,
yes,
I have reunited with my Sunrise Gratitude book, which is something you and I bonded about 5 years ago, the first time we talked. So I am just feeling, my heart is bursting with joy about this community because it starts with business and then it goes personal, and it was on the screen and then it's in person. So just I love this community. So just thank you for everybody to participating, and really what you put in is what you get out of it, and unconditional love here is freaking amazing. So I had to get that out because I'm feeling some gratitude today.
Amazing.
And I believe in experimenting. Like experimenting is everything. And I think people are endeared to you when you screw up a little bit and when you do experiment. And I want to challenge everybody. Don't just experiment with your posts, experiment with the voice that you share, right? And I don't mean like animation, like your high voice versus like your bro voice. I mean like experiment with, hey, I'm happy today. I'm annoyed today. I'm a professional today. I'm an exhausted parent today. I'm an annoyed wife today. Like experiment with all your voices and see what sticks. And don't just do more of that because people like it, but just be more of yourself. Because Naki, I think you just mentioned this about building trust. Somebody, it was you or somebody before you. I have noticed in the last 5 years since I've been experimenting with this stuff online is that my sales cycle has shortened, because when people get on the phone with me for the first time, because they know about a bike ride they took, or they know that my husband hates social media or whatever it is, they feel like we already know each other in some way. And so instead of like one discovery call and then a bunch of follow-up emails and then a bunch of this, that we've already connected parasocially. So that one call, they've already sort of decided, like, I'd have to really screw up that call for them not to want to work with me. Like, they've decided by taking the call, they're likely to work with me. So being yourself and experimenting with your own voice actually is a form of building pre-trust before you actually have that first interaction. And you can't take that lightly enough. I think experimentation is the key to victory. Somebody else talked about play. If you're not following a man named Gary Ware, he's with a company called Breakthrough Play. He was an ad exec who turned an improv artist. He started his own company and now he's all about bringing play into corporations. And I think it was Bruce, somebody just said, play and creativity, we do it so much as a kid and we forget to do it as an adult. And there's so much value to bring play and experiment. Oh, look at you, breakthroughplay.com right there.
Mike's on it.
Mike,
Mike is on it.
Yeah.
Crushing
So
it.
experimenting, I'm all about experimenting and I'm all about screwing up in public. Something that I've learned about experimenting is I've had a lot of success accidentally recently showing my miserable renovation that I'm going through. I'm still not in my house.
I'm sorry to laugh, but I'm so proud of you for sharing it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like originally I'm like, oh God, do I want to show that we fired like 2 general contractors and 2 designers? Do I want to show that my house is in disaster? Do I even want to show my house? But it has been one of those things that when I show up at conferences or even I'm talking to new customers or like new vendors, they're like, but how's the kitchen going? You know, like they don't even want to talk about anything. And I cannot wait till December 5th when we move in to actually be like, we're here. I feel like I'm not the only one that's going to be excited. So I've been experimenting with that. Show that personal tragedy. Like it's not a real tragedy, but show the stuff because I think that matters. And then I also, for next year, some of my goals, I'm sharing this so you'll hold me accountable, is I want to show more of my podcast shorts. We do that on our Adventures in Business Live page, which is great, but I don't show enough of it on my personal page. So I'm going to do more of that. I have a new book coming out next year. And so I'm going to, starting in January, show more behind the scenes of like what went into it, what things I hated, what things I loved, just more behind the scenes to the decision making and solicit feedback from the audience because that could help me. But I think it also sort of connects people to that process. And then I've got a new Sales Tales Live, like a 70-minute webinar kind of thing coming up in February just for entrepreneurs. So sales just for entrepreneurs. So an entrepreneur that hates sales is going to want to attend this. But I do these, but I never really show the back end of it. And I never really show clips from it, like what entrepreneurs or what people attending are talking about. So I'm going to do a better job at actually just showing some of those struggles or those problems people are having with their permission, obviously. And I think that will help other people understand, like, you're not alone. It's hard being an entrepreneur. And like Shawn says, stay curious, ask for help. So those are my 3 personal how to experiment a little bit more in 2026.
I love it, Mandy. It reminds me, I just was on a call last week with a potential client and we were talking about they're doing a major renovation. They're moving buildings to this new phenomenal facility and it's going to happen, hopefully at the end of Q1. So their response was, well, that's when we should start creating content so that we can show off how beautiful the facility was. And it's what we told them was, you want to start now. Like people want to be involved in, to your point, the renovation, because like that's where we can see like if you're willing to show us what's happening before the grand opening ribbon cutting, like everyone sees the ribbon cutting, but show us all the problems that happened before the ribbon cut and tell us how you're feeling. Because like
I want to see the dirt. Show me the dirt. Yeah.
Show the dirt. Because like to Naki's point, like that's the emotional side. And that's what really connects us to other human beings, which is why, we say all the time, build in public, share and document and vlog, essentially use these tools to vlog your story, because then you also have B-roll. Like then how much better is the video? Because like now you have a time lapse of like, where were you in the beginning and where are you now?
Well, and building on that, one last thing, anybody doing a podcast, we followed Shawn's process on building in public. So 3.5 years ago, when we started Adventures in Business Live, we literally did a test, and my co-host was like, well, we'll just record the test guest. I'm like, oh no, we're doing the test guest live. And it was a disaster. And it was my brother-in-law. So there was like, the risk was low with the guest.
Yep.
But it was the whole thing. Like, if you look at what our episodes were then versus now, we still have so much work to do. But just the fact that we have a history of our actual first show with our test guest, and like how bad the graphics were and how awkward we were interviewing each other. And it's so good to have that history for yourself to see how far you've come, but also for your audience to be like, I've been with them on the journey the whole way. Yep. So yes, Shawn, 100% build in public. Yes.
And just a reminder to everybody, this community is an experiment. Like this was one grand experiment of during the pandemic. Let's start a Cali barbecue, building in public. Let's have our team calls on Clubhouse, and that has evolved into something so much more. You know, to Mandy's point, amazing gratitude, but so much business gets done, so much friendship happens. People all over the globe can connect. So if you're watching this, please come on stage. Please share your story. And invite some friends, because this is better the more people that we have. A rising tide lifts all ships. Hildy, welcome. You are up. What are you working on a Friday? And tell us what your experiments will be for 2026 in content.
So I'm in Scottsdale, and the last time I checked, Shawn, it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Did I say Friday? I don't know. I don't know what day it is. I don't know. I got thrown off. Wednesday,
Does
Friday.
Anybody really care?
We do these shows every Wednesday and every Friday for those watching and paying attention. Every Wednesday, every Friday. And you can also consume them after the fact on Digital Hospitality.
So funny. Yeah, being a long way
YouTube Clubhouse. Yes.
Hysterical. So let's see if we can. Yeah, I think you can see that.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, pickleball, baby, pickleball.
Wow.
But commitment. You know, I don't do things halfway. Oh, no. I fell back on my hand so bad that it broke off from both bones and dislocated. Oh. So I've got pictures of my hand like not attached. And because you have to pick your surgeon, I was walking around with a hand not attached to my wrist for 15 days before a surgeon could cut me open and put in titanium. So this has been a very interesting, it's hard for me to even think about posting on social with basically one hand, right? Because everything we do, it's this way, or even on my laptop, it's nearly impossible. And the pain since September 21st, this happened September 21st, and I kept it very, very quiet because my personality doesn't do well with 100 people daily saying, did you do this? And have you done this? And how are you feeling? And what can I, no.
Human chat GPT.
So the 7 people who I was playing pickleball with on 2 courts who saw me fall and thought I cracked my head open because I fell with such force, I made them swear not to tell another human being, which was driving them crazy. But anyway, now I'm, September 21st seems like a lifetime ago. So now I've got to get back into posting once this comes off in a few weeks. So I keep being told that when you stop posting, you get punished by all the algorithms. They start you from day one again. So what does that look like? And how is that going to be? And do I start publishing Goddessing events, which I don't have anything for, because our first event's November 19th, I think. So do I wait and just continue doing my swag videos? Do I incorporate some of this? What do I do? What does 2026 look like? And I'm going to reach out to the community. Me and my business partner, we do need to hire somebody in marketing who isn't the Bloomingdales of marketing, who can help us with our grassroots efforts of explaining Goddessing events once we have the video clips from our first event. So if you all know somebody who would be, maybe the first hour is free, and then after that, it's, a couple $100 an hour. I would love that, because I'm pretty good at social media, but Goddessing events is a brand new venture for me. And I would love to have someone hold my hand who's maybe done similar things that have been successful. So that's what I'm working on this beautiful Wednesday, Shawn, here in Scottsdale, Arizona, where I've been for a month because I'm dog sitting. And dog sitting in Scottsdale when the weather is awful on the East Coast this month, I'm very grateful for. Back to you.
Amazing. Great stuff, Hildy. We can't wait for the content. My suggestion is experiment. Experiment with all of it. Try it all. You're wondering what to post all of it and figure out what works afterwards. Really, go ahead, Elizabeth.
Yeah, sure. So to Hildy's point, because right now typing and such is hurting, and you probably already know this, so I'm just saying it out loud. But if you use an Apple phone, if you use the voice memo function on your phone, you can just talk into it, and it now has a transcription feature within it, so that if you just need to get your ideas down, or you need to write an email or something like that, and you don't want Siri to pause or go, she disappears on you in the middle of a thing, or like ChatGPT, where she interrupts you with a solution and a compliment. And so anyway, but if you use that, you can access that transcription. Or if you use Notes on Apple, there's a little paper clip, and you can add a note. You can add an audio note that is transcribed within Apple Notes as well. So there's like 2 ways to get to it on your iPhone if you guys are iPhone users. Anyway, but just a way to start getting those ideas down, I guess.
Yes, I use that. And here's my pushback, but I bet between the 5 of us on this call, someone will have an idea. So remember when we first started sending emails from our phone, and we always put, please excuse brevity or typos, doing it from my phone. So now I'm doing these voice memos because that's all I can do. And my friends are reading the transcription. And so when Siri makes a mistake, my people are like, no, I'm reading the transcription. You're saying tonight. And I'm like, I didn't say tonight. So how do we now solve that? Because that's what people are doing. They're reading the transcription, and the transcription is not always perfect.
Yeah. So you're saying in iMessages, you're hitting the
voice memo
thing, yeah,
sending it to you, and you're choosing not to listen. You're choosing to read the transcription, and the transcription is off.
Yeah, I don't know how to fix that one. Poor Siri, she's a hot mess.
Yeah,
love her though.
Yes,
love our iPhones.
Well,
all right, go ahead, Shawn.
I shouldn't say her name or to wake everybody's phone up across the thing.
We appreciate everybody that's watching. Please send us suggestions. Elizabeth, great topic today. Experiments. Every Wednesday we do experiments. So if you have a topic that you want this community to discuss, if you want to host this show, let us know. Email us at podcast@calibbq.media. Friday, we have a Pitch the Tide. So every Friday we do a restaurant technology showcase show. Beth Hussey, founder of Shifty, is going to be coming onto the show to pitch the tide. We can't wait to hear Beth's pitch, learn more about Shifty, see the problems that they are solving for hospitality professionals. Every Friday we do that show. So if you know a restaurant technology company, platform, brand, service-based business that is helping the restaurant hospitality industry, let us know. Because we have Friday shows that are opening up. I think we might be booked till the end of the year. It has been a popular segment. And we appreciate this community because we need to give them feedback on how to be less salesy and more storytelling-y, right, Mandy? Let's go ahead and do tip, takeaway, homework assignment. Mandy, start with you.
Disarm the stigma of sales. And get comfortable with it and experiment and tell stories. But just remember, a great salesperson is a great listener. And a great salesperson is actually an educator. And you never know when you are actually going to be helping somebody learn about something they really need that could be life-changing for them personally or professionally. But you never know that until you experiment with your own voice about it.
Magical. Good stuff, Mandy. Hildy, tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
I do hear a dog barking, so forgive me if it comes through, but hopefully he's too busy being in love with me. So for me, I am going to take Mandy to heart. I'm going to do lots of experimenting and focus on the sales aspect of Gotta Sing events, and of course Geiger, because clearly my background's decided to change mid-video. So you know me, I can be singing and I can be Geiger all at once. Back to you, Shawn.
Awesome, Hildy. Thank you. Bruce Nelson.
Yeah, since I'm the numbers guy, we are barraged by 4,000 to 10,000 algorithm-driven sales pitches every single day. So when we swipe past this stuff, it's not because we're not interested. We're just doing it because of self-preservation. So my takeaway is stop selling, start telling.
Amazing. Great stuff. That was a phenomenal takeaway. Clippable takeaway, actually, Bruce. Elizabeth, great topic. Go ahead, take us out.
Yeah, sure. So I will say, as I was journeying in this rabbit hole this morning, I ended up on a YouTube video TED Talk from Charlie Mackesy, Mackesey. So type Charlie Mackesy TED Talk. This is the gentleman that was the author of an Oscar-winning animated film, which I didn't know until after I'd watched the video this morning, but of The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. And it would be a great sit down with your kids. It's just it's an artful piece of work. But in the TED Talk, he's talking about play and about just stop worrying about whether or not it's good and just try it. But it was beautifully done, and so I highly recommend it as just a different way to enter into this. And Naki left before I could say this, but a couple of you have brought it back up, and even Bruce talking about the numbers side of things. If you can think of the fact that you want to bring, like you're talking about the philosophy of the idea of what you want to bring, and think about there's a moment in the data where it's transformational, where you realize, oh, this is what it's showing me. But how can you bridge to that transformational moment from a story that's similar, whether it's a story in literature, a story in your own life, where you had a moment where your thinking shifted in that, and could you bridge that into those conversations? And same with what Naki was talking about, that people respond to the emotional side. Well, what if you use analogies and metaphors that are stories that lead into the things that you're wanting to talk about? And so anyway, I just want to encourage everybody, remember, you got your permission slip to do D+ work. And and I loved Bruce's thing, stop selling and start telling. Storytelling, Dean is reminding us. Anyway, I hand it back to you, Shawn. Thank you so much.
Great job, Elizabeth. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Elizabeth, Hildy, Mandy, Jason, Dean, everybody that joined, everybody on Facebook. Well, we're not on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on LinkedIn. And we're live on Instagram too, which is sweet. Thank you all. What an awesome show. Great job, Mike, producing behind the scenes, Biseglia. We appreciate it. As always, stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We'll put you guys all on Friday. Show up early, get on stage, give feedback. I'll see 50, under 50. It's the tide. Thank you all. Have a great Wednesday.